What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to look at Marvel Rivals, the game that was announced this morning. Talk about my thoughts on it. And look, I've been able to sit with this game really all day. Obviously, not playing it, but watched it right when it got announced. And I had seen the leaks, which pretty much everything about this game had already leaked like a day or two ago. So I knew what to expect going in. But seeing the trailer, I gotta be honest, originally, and maybe even still partially right now, it's a whole lot of, it doesn't interest me. And we're gonna go more into that in this video. But I gotta be real, as time has gone on, as the day has gone on. Look, no matter what I personally feel about it, and yeah, it's my video, all that stuff. But honestly, I kind of think this is the right move. Or it just makes sense, I guess, is an easy way of putting it, of why they would want to make a game like this. So to kind of break it down, right, this is very much an Overwatch type game. Now, the reception to it has been mixed, but I think it's definitely been more positive than negative. I think there are a couple hang-ups that we'll talk about, but there is, originally I saw, oh, this will just be like a discount Overwatch, and I saw a pushback to that saying, well, like, hey, at its core, Overwatch, especially the first one, like, it had something. And I can say that with absolutely zero interest in Overwatch, I can agree. It absolutely does have something. It's a successful game. It's a successful franchise. Now, one of the leaks leading into this game being announced today was a playtester. Now, it may be a fake playtester, right? Somebody who's just saying it, but somebody said it's basically a worse Overwatch. And again, I mean, you watch it and you can't help but think of Overwatch. Even if it's close to Overwatch, that is the part that I can understand it. I'm not a massive fan of maybe like the business practices, because I can see microtransactions up the yin-yang on this thing, and I think it can be extremely bad, extremely terrible. But the microtransactions, I think the core game might actually be fine. And obviously we're not going to know that for sure until we play it, but that's, the next part of, I guess, the news, right? So May is when this thing comes out in some form of early access. What I found interesting about today that I think a lot of people have gone back and forth on is, so they announced it for PC, and they kind of definitively say, like, at least right now, it's just on PC, but the leaks leading into it is this game was going to be everywhere. This is going to be a mobile game. This is going to be a console game. It's going to be everywhere. Some people are saying, even on the Discord earlier today, developers from NetEase flat out said that it's going to be on consoles, and then they walked that statement back. Now, I think on their official FAQ page, they do say it's going to come to consoles. They're just originally putting it on PC. I don't know if that's the right move. I think you honestly, with a game like this, at a time like this, I think you're going to get a lot of people that probably would want on consoles. Not that there's not a PC market for it. There absolutely is. You look at some of the live service games that do well on Steam and whatnot. The games should be fine, right, in terms of player base, but it's just weird. And I would say it's not the right thing. Like how they're doing it, just doing it on PC. I don't think that's like the smartest move of all time, but okay, well then the game itself. Number one, visuals. I actually really like the visual style. I've seen, again, kind of everything about this game has been split. Everything about this game has been divisive, right? For me, I do like how it looks. It's hard for me to care too much about the game. I mean, that's just being as flat out honest as I can be. It's not my type of game. Is it something that I'll try? Yeah, it actually, like watching it, I watched the trailer twice before I recorded this video. I guess I'll maybe watch it a third time while doing the video. I can see there being fun there. I can see playing with 6v6, right? So you can play with other people. It's a big roster. It's got your, people that it should have, right? And it's also got a few people that maybe are kind of out of left field. And then obviously the room for improvement, the room for additions. That does go into a pretty, like I mentioned earlier, a thing that I am pretty scared of. You think of NetEase, and I don't think of the greatest company that handles microtransactions when I hear NetEase. So I am very worried about what comes down the line from it. I know the belief will be, well, you'll have unlockable characters. In fact, I think actually the rumor is, and I think Miller Ross maybe even said this, the rumor might be characters will go in and out of being free, like multiverses. Characters that are not free, you'll have to grind for the currency, or you can just pay for. There's nothing terrible about that. However, what we've seen in a lot of these games in the past is the currency is just a complete garbage, a cluster F of just things. And you can grind, but it's incentivized that you pay. And it is a free-to-play game. It is something that does need to make money. I understand that. But you can go very hard in a direction that makes you very unlikable with those kind of decisions. So, again, I would say it's more of like warnings or things to kind of keep an eye out for. I don't think, it's definitive that the game is going to be, terrible or amazing. The gameplay itself, I think, is fine. I don't think it's good. It's not my kind of game, so I'm also not the greatest person to kind of go to, right? I think it's fine. I think it probably could be fun if you have people that are into that stuff. If you're not into that stuff, it's just another game. I will say this, though, right? Like, predatory microtransactions possibly, right, aside, okay? Throwing that aside. It's hard for me to get too mad at it, especially as I've sat on this all day, right? Because I've been thinking, well, we have always said that we want these games, or when we think of Marvel and DC, right? Make a ton of different kinds of games. In a world of just all live service games, right, which I constantly criticize, I don't know if I also want a world of all open world superhero games either, right? Like, I do want some sort of balance. I do want just random things. I've always talked about, like, when Star Wars did it, right, in, like, the mid-2000s, you got some bad games, and you got some games that I'm just not interested in, but you also got ones that you would never really have thought would have worked, and they did, because they may have just, like, pushed the envelope in a different direction, right? So, like, do I want the Marvel's Avengers of the world? No. But ultimately, like, when you have Midnight Suns and you have Spider-Man and you know what I mean? Like, you're already starting to build. You have a couple different genres that you're messing around in. You'll have your open world game like with Spider-Man. You'll have a more story-driven, linear kind of thing in Guardians of the Galaxy. You'll have your card XCOM type game with Midnight Suns. Now, that game didn't sell, but you have it. You'll have your live service failure in Marvel's Avengers. Now, it was a failure, but they tried it, right? So, in one area, I can respect throwing anything at the wall and seeing what sticks. Am I a fan of these type of games? No. Do I think it can go wrong pretty easily? Yes. But at the same time, they are trying different things, and maybe it does work, and I am one that I've constantly said to try, different things in different genres, and I'm not going to be interested in all of them, right? If they did a Marvel kart racer, well, I do like Mario Kart, but generally, I'm not a racing guy per se, so I wouldn't be into it, but you know what? They're trying it. Like, they're doing different, which is exactly what I've been asking. So it'd be pretty hypocritical of me to be too harsh on it, right? For me, it's just I'm not too into the gameplay. I don't think it's going to hold me for that long, and I am pretty terrified of what they will do with money because they've been known to do bad things with money. This needs money, to operate, and I feel like it's there for the taking for them to do anything possible to get as much money from these, and probably a lot of children, right? People that see it and say, oh, it's Overwatch with friends. Maybe some teenagers get into it. How do you have that teenager steal their parents' credit card and use the money, right? Which is what pretty much all of these live service games depend on from time to time, or maybe all the time. How can you do that? I think NetEase has some ideas of how to do it. So that is what worries me the most, to be flat out honest with you. But I think I'll give it a try. I definitely want to give it a try. We'll see how it goes. And I like the turnaround. Let's end it there. I like the turnaround. You announce it, even though it was leaked a few days ago, you announce it, and you're getting some version of it in 2 months. That is a pretty fast turnaround, and I'm generally a fan of that kind of stuff. So let me know what you think. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.